Jaziz versus Dr. Thrax.
You dare to select Dr. Thrax? You should reconsider, General. Do not think I cannot see your spies flying over my base. Please, look all you wish, because this may be the last time you ever see my stronghold. As you can see, my defenses are impenetrable, and my toxic weapon systems will poison your troops long before they can reach me. Prepare to tell your three-eyed grandchildren of your defeats this day.
Hey, Thrax, old buddy, good to see you again. How's that proctology course going? You getting anywhere? Because, you know, I heard those classes are pretty popular right now. It's a tight fit to get in. But, hey, you probably got friends in high places. I'm sure you could kind of, you know, grease the wheels a bit, you know, get yourself in there. You'll have to forgive my aggressive attitude. I've played this mission 6 times, and I'm starting to get just a wee bit frustrated with it. I think I know how to beat it now, but, yeah, prepare to hear me bitch about this mod just a little bit, because there are some issues in the challenges. In fact, I can explain why this mission's bullshit in just one word. Artillery. Because that's all you need. It's just an artillery fight. The first portion of the match is pretty fucking easy. Then the Toxin General brings in his little 3-missile launcher artillery units, and they fuck your shit. Unless you have some kind of, like, laser defense. I'm sure USA Laser and China Nuke would do just fine, because they could probably combat that with lots of Gatling, you know, towers and all that other shit. Would work just fine. The way this challenge plays out is just boring. I mean, maybe as another general it'll be a little bit more fun since you could use ground units like Avengers and you wouldn't have to worry about the artillery so much, but as it is, if you try to send out any ground units that don't have really good anti-missile support, then you're going to get fucked. You're just going to get tagged by missiles, you're going to get your shit destroyed, and you're just not going to have a good time. So as GLA Demolition General, this challenge is extremely linear. Like, I mean, maybe there are other options. I'm not the best player in the world. I know that. You know that. It's pretty fucking obvious. But I'm not incompetent. I get how the fucking game works, right? So when I bash my head into the wall 6 times in a row only to find out, yeah, it's just a cheap artillery battle. There's no complex strategy to this. It's not a hard battle, you know what I mean? It's only hard because I have to build a bunch of shit and get my timing perfect and hope the artificial intelligence does stupid shit like it always does, right? I suppose the best way to describe this challenge and a whole lot of the hard difficulty Shockwave challenges is that you're not outsmarting the AI, you're just taking advantage of exploits. You know, areas to where the artificial intelligence isn't programmed to deviate or come up with a different plan or anything like that. So while I'm here bashing my head against the wall for 6 rounds straight, the artificial intelligence is just doing the same fucking routine over and over again, and the key is to find out how to disrupt that, which I think that's interesting. It's strategic, right? But it's just not as fun as a skirmish, for example, to where you can fight the AI in multiple different ways. And it can be extremely difficult. It's just a matter of balance, right? And it's kind of at the player's hand at that point, so I can understand why designing some of these things can be difficult, but I'm just not digging these hard Shockwave challenges. They're really just unfair. You know, it's unfair to the point to where you're expected to basically cheat to win. Which is fine, I mean, there's strategy to it, but once you figure out the secret to winning, it's not really too difficult to win, it's just a matter of patience, and I have plenty of patience, but that doesn't mean I think my time's not worth anything, you know what I mean? So when I spend a bunch of time trying to fight one of these fuckers, and it's just one of these stupid exploit battles, basically, to where you're fucking over the artificial intelligence and using exploits to win the game, it's just not as fun to me, you know? Of course, there's a big catch-22 there, because if you make these strategy games to where there's many different ways to win, it all of a sudden becomes too easy, right? So then the hard difficulty's not hard at all, because anybody can beat it. They just got to find that one route that's really super easy to win. But in this case, it's still just as easy to win. You just have to know exactly what to do. There's no deviation. You could do the exact same strategy that I'm going to do right now if I win anyways. And you can take it and beat this general every single time doing those exact same moves. The general doesn't change what they do. They don't send their units through a different route. They only respond to what you build and where you put things, instead of just thinking like, hey, you know, sending this conga line of units down this fucking artillery path isn't working out too well. Maybe we should go down a different route. never happens, which, I don't know, it just comes across to me as a design flaw, which I'm sad to say, because I really do love the challenge mode, and I do love Shockwave, but this mission in particular is kind of giving me a bad feeling about the rest of these. At least playing as Demolition General, I think certain generals may not be particularly well built to take on the challenge mode. Of course, like I said earlier, this probably isn't any big deal for any of the USA factions, but as GLA you don't have Avengers or, you know, Gatling towers or anything that's really effective against those missile artillery units, so you're kind of fucked. You're basically restricted to using artillery to combat artillery, and at that point, you're just sitting here in the base with your thumb up your ass. Now, of course, I'm saying that I haven't actually had this strategy work yet, but it's the only viable thing I can think that'll work. So, what I'm doing right now is teching up as much as possible while building a reasonable defense so I can get those artillery units as quickly as I can. I need to beat him to the punch on that. Really, it's no different than trying to beat the AI to the punch on super weapons, you know what I mean? To where you're just building the super weapons to combat the super weapons, and I don't know, that's just boring as shit to me. It's not really strategic. It's just kind of like answering a question correctly. Do you go through path A or path B? Okay, path B's bullshit, go through path A, mission complete. Not the most entertaining thing in the world, in my opinion. Well, you know, entertaining for me, the player. For you, the viewer, it's probably fucking gas watching me getting my ass kicked around by these fuckers. But, you know, if I was having a rough day and I wanted to sit down and enjoy a video game, I don't think I would pick Shockwave Challenge Mode. It's just not very fun. At least not on hard difficulty. Maybe if I put it on medium or something like that, kind of, well, not cruise through it, but at least there would be different options, right? I could try different shit, and it might be effective, and I wouldn't have to just rely on making the artificial intelligence do stupid shit, but as it is, I'm just hurting the AI. That's basically what this is. It's a real lame solution for a pretty lame challenge. Though, to be honest, I'm actually enjoying this part right now. It's kind of fun, you know, you got the units coming up towards the base, I gotta pop them with the artillery and kind of balance it between my towers and all that. That's interesting, but once they start sending out artillery, the towers stop becoming part of the equation. I mean, they provide you a little bit of defense in that the artillery may try to strike them first, but the toxins are going to reach out and get your artillery anyways, right? So, yeah, that's a problem I'm trying to figure out. At least I think the torpoles have a little bit more range than the toxin artillery, but they also have some of the worst fucking pathing in the game, and getting them to get to a certain position of fire is just a fucking struggle. And that's going to happen here, I guarantee you it. During my last test, which I failed, by the way, so, again, I don't know if this is going to work, but during my last test when I was trying to get the strategy to work, yeah, they were just, you know, doing donuts next to the fucking towers. When I was trying to put them next to the towers, they're just fucking going around in circles, and they sit there and do nothing, right? And that's frustrating, because you can't really play the game as you need to play it. So even to do the exploit, you have to have some kind of intimate knowledge about the pathing that the Torpol M's have, and if you don't know about that, then it's just a matter of luck. You just got to click on the area and hope that the artillery parks where you need it to, and it actually has the right distance between it and enemy artillery so it doesn't get destroyed. And I could probably talk for an hour about how fucked up this mission is and how some of the units make it just a fucking chore, but I'll talk about the game a little bit. Let's get back to the actual strategy instead of me just bitching about it, right? You know my complaints now. I've said everything that needs to be said about how this is fucked up. Let's have some fun here. So what I'm doing right now is taking out these tunnels and stinger sites, because the stinger sites will shoot down some of my Torpol M missiles, and the tunnels will eject not only demolition shit like, you know, demo trucks, but also artillery. So, yeah, that can also be a problem. If you're firing at one area trying to take out a conga line of artillery, then they come out of a tunnel that you didn't take out and start firing, well, you're game over right there. Which, that's the exact way that I lost last time when I tried to do this, so yeah, not going to make that mistake again. Normally, I'd just send demo bikes to take them out since it would be quick and I could do it right at the start of the match, but I actually have to conserve my money quite a bit because I'm not exactly sure how much artillery I need to counter their artillery, because I have to have the area in just a constant state of being exploded, right? If the area isn't constantly exploding, one of the artilleries may actually park there, fire off a couple of missiles, and the toxins will destroy a couple of Torpol M's. And yeah, they're not easily replaceable at their current cost. So, yeah, that's an issue. And I know it sounds like I'm complaining right now, but this is the actual strategy. It's going to be kind of hard for me to not complain while telling you how to do this, because like I said earlier, it's an exploit. It's not strategy, it's just exploiting the artificial intelligence. Or the lack thereof. Thinking about it, a more correct term is probably artificial stupidity, because that's what I'm exploiting. I'm exploiting the fact that the artificial intelligence can't adapt. Not that I'm implying that programming artificial intelligence is an easy task. I just kind of wish that the Toxin General might take a different route once in a while. Instead, he just attacks you from the same two places. Unless you build a little bit close to the left, then he might take that third path. But if you avoid it, he just blows up that oil derrick, then comes into the left with a few units and nothing else. So I'm ready for that too. Prepare to see that, which is, yeah, probably the best example I have about how this is exploit, not a challenge. And if I don't stop this piece of artillery right here, the mission's done and I'm going to have to re-record it. So that thing has to die right now. Well, that's just fucking great. I had those torpils all placed right and they were firing correctly, and now they're blown up by toxins. Fuck. Should have gone after both the tunnels first. It's just that one stinger site's kind of a pain in the ass on the right side. It likes to shoot down your missiles right before they hit, and you need a little bit extra artillery protection on the right side because they send the demo trucks that way first. Now, I would build stinger sites to combat the missile artillery, but there's a couple of problems with that. First of all, the stinger sites take up a bunch of space, so if you have those on your front line, you're not going to have enough room for your artillery to get close enough to shoot the other artillery, and one toxin cloud will render all of those stinger sites completely useless. So it's just not a strategy that I'm super keen for. There's lots of holes in that one, you know what I mean? Of course, there's plenty of holes in this strategy too, but I'm inclined to think that the stinger sites aren't the best option. Simply because all it takes is one toxin cloud to render them disabled, and at that point, a couple of artillery shots get in and you deal with what I'm dealing with right now, trying to recover really, really quickly so that the next artillery piece doesn't blow everything else up. I'm just on the edge of having my defense locked in, but yeah, without the 5 torpils on the right, I don't feel secure. There needs to be just a constant explosion going on. It just needs to be exploding all the fucking time. Otherwise, the demo truck will get by, it'll blow up a tunnel, and it will leave toxins, by the way, which will blow up torpils. And yeah, there's lots of issues with that as well. So yeah, you have to be able to combat the artillery and the demolition trucks. Everything else, like the toxin tractors and the scorpion tanks and all that, they're pretty negligible. The towers can take care of those for the most part, but yeah, those demo trucks come right in and blow everything right the fuck up, and those fucking artillery are just, it's easily the worst part about this fight. You know, if they just sent a bunch of toxin tractors in and tanks and all that and made it a little bit more interesting with ambushes and other generals' powers that are kind of hard to defend against, that you gotta trick yourself around and make some extra defenses for, that would be kind of interesting. But at this point, the only real threats that you're going to face are going to be the artillery and, to a lesser degree, the bomb trucks. But, well, once all the torpils are in place, the bomb trucks aren't going to stand a chance either. I'll just be sitting here waiting to get my attack on, which, looking forward to that. That'll be pretty fucking cathartic, just to knock this bitch down after giving me so much trouble. But, well, it's not my favorite thing to do, what can I say? I enjoy these challenges, but only when they're challenges, not when they're just exploitation. Oh fuck, the pathing in this game's a goddamn nightmare. I know I said I'd stop complaining, but for fuck's sake, you know, I just want the artillery to be in a certain position. If it can't be there, just tell me that you can't go there. Oh, goddamn. And you know, the sad part is they're actually being more cooperative with me this time than they were in my previous attempts. This is actually going way more smoothly. And that's the reason why these torpils are just kind of scattered all over the place and not in any kind of organized fashion, because if I try to organize them, they like to just fidget around and move, and they just get out of place, they stop firing where they're supposed to fire, and it's just fucking awful. It's like I'm herding cats over here. They just don't fucking listen. Well, no, I guess that's not true. They do listen. It's just they say, yes, I'm going to that position. Then they just kind of... I just can't predict where they're going to fit, where they're not going to fit, when they're going to move around, when they're not going to move around, where should I put them? Who the fuck knows? Just force fire, and if they sit in a position that's safe, then awesome. If they fuck about and get killed, then restart the map. So, yeah, considering that's what I'm going through right now, I'm probably just going to bitch through this whole fucking mission, because, goddamn, really. You know, it wouldn't even be that bad if it wasn't for the Torpals just having the worst fucking pathing in the whole game. I mean, I understand they're working like the Scud Launchers do, but I don't remember the Scud Launchers having this much of a problem just finding a place to fire, you know? I don't even blame the mod maker for that, though. Generals just has bad pathing. Always has. So, really can't blame the modder here. He just made a vehicle that's a little bit too long, right? But that's part of the design. It makes it difficult to use. I get that, but there's just no gameplay mechanic in place to make that, oh, what's the best word to use? Manageable. That's a good one. Yeah, it's just not manageable. It just takes a lot of the strategy out of using their artillery when you're not sure if they're going to be able to fire or not, and you just don't know if they can fit in the places that you want to put them. If the units would say things like, no, I can't go there, or they have some kind of icon on the little mouse cursor to let you know that the unit's not going to be able to move there, or something like that, but none of that exists, and, you know, even if that were there, I would still have to contend with the fact that the Torpals just like to move around sometimes when they're cramped, and they'll do a big old U-turn and just get right where the demo truck's gonna fucking blow up and hit them, or right where the enemy artillery's gonna get a line in and shoot at them, and that's just fucking terrible. I hate it. I don't even know why the artillery fidgets around to begin with. I mean, they're clipping into shit all the time. They're, you know, punching through 3D shit and parking in weird spaces all the goddamn time, so it's not like, you know, they're moving to get out of the way of some kind of object collision that's visually, you know, ruining the game or anything like that. I don't even know where to start on that. That's got to be a huge fucking issue in this engine. I have the same issue with demo bikes too. Sometimes they don't know whether they want to go over a hill or completely around the hill right to the enemy's front lines, which, yeah, that's a pain in the ass. So if you want to send them over a hill, you have to babysit them every single time. Otherwise, they may just fuck off and take the worst fucking path possible. I just don't get it. Then again, I'm not a programmer. I would never get it. Even if it was, you know, explained to me, I wouldn't understand it. But, well, as a player, I can tell you it's fucking frustrating. It makes playing as the Demolition General a lot less appealing right now. I'd hold down Alt and mark down a path for my Torpals, but like I said, that has no effect. They just decide to go where they go, and it's just another button to press and all that other shit, and I don't know. I guess I should be holding down Alt, but I'm just not in the mood for it right now. You know, it's just one more fucking thing for me to do when I could be building something else or dealing with something else. Instead, I gotta, you know, plot out courses for each and every Torpal instead of just sending them to the spot that I want them to go. I guess my issue with this on the whole is that it's really fun to play, but the game forces you to just do lots of really weird shit to make up for the fact that the pathing's terrible, and I don't like that. I'd say that is the worst part about Generals. If I had to pick anything about this entire game that's, like, bad, that wasn't improved over the other games, it's definitely the pathing. Granted, you see this kind of pathing problem in all RTS games, but it's the worst in Generals. At least as far as, like, the AAA, really fucking good RTS games go, Generals has the worst pathing. Hands down, no fucking contest. So yeah, the combination of bad pathing and really predictable and sort of cheap artificial intelligence, it just sets me off. I really love this game, and when it's really good, it's fucking awesome, but when it's bad, oh god, is it fucking bad. But then again, I have these sort of complaints for all of my favorite games. It's just when you spend so much time playing a certain title, you start to see all the stuff that's really bad about it, and it's hard not to talk about it, you know what I mean? Because you spend so much time saying everything that's good about the game, what you enjoy, what's fun, and all that, but those little tiny things just add up, and eventually you just gotta fucking talk about it, because, for God's sake, just sit where I tell you to, you know? How can I fucking command my units if they're not gonna go where I'm gonna tell them to go? That makes no fucking sense. What's the point of that? And while I do realize there's more I could do to make it a little bit more accurate where I'm gonna move the units and all that, I shouldn't have to go through a bunch of stupid bullshit just to get a unit to go where it needs to go. You know, it should just tell me it can't go there. Then I can click on another spot and it'll go to that spot, right? How hard is that? Well, I mean, I guess it's really fucking hard. I'm not a programmer, but I've seen lots of other games do it correctly, so it's not impossible. That being said, I don't blame the programmers too much. I remember Zero Hour kind of had issues when it came to both budgeting and the time of the release, so lots of stuff got cut out, and the money that would be used to fix the pathing probably wasn't there. Otherwise, the pathing would be fine right now, wouldn't it? At least that's what I think. I don't think that the people who made this game were incompetent. I think EA probably fucked them over just a little bit. That's what they do. You know, they're a publisher. What can you say? They don't really make games for us to enjoy them. They make games to make money, first and foremost. It's the developers who make the games for fun, but the publishers are just there to get some money, so what do they care if the pathing's shit? So yeah, I actually feel bad for the programmers. I mean, they made this beautiful game and they almost had it just tweaked perfectly and just had it taken out from under them and shipped without their, you know, consent. Well, not consent, but not their blessing, you know what I mean? I don't think that they would want to release the game in this current state, considering all the work they put in all the other shit that didn't make it in, you know? For instance, why would they make a Demolition General and make a map for him and make all these fucking voice clips and everything if they weren't gonna make a fucking challenge for him, you know? If they had the time, they would have finished that, they would have fixed the pathing, and I'm sure there's several other things that would have been in the game that probably would have kicked a lot of ass. But, you know, EA, what can you say? I'm just happy this game's moddable, because if this was made these days, you wouldn't be able to mod shit, you know? There wouldn't be any custom maps or Shockwave or Contra or any of this other stuff. It would just be, here's fucking generals, play it as we sold it, and if you want the DLC, we may provide it. We may not, and if we do provide it, we're gonna gouge you for it, because fucking EA. Urgh. I don't need to talk about EA. That's my trigger word. I gotta go crawl back onto my Tumblr and hide. It's okay, though. I'm in my hug box now. My Torpal inbox. Same difference either way. Blocking out all outside influences so I can build up all of my weapons to destroy my enemies. Hug box. I'm just gonna do this the simple way. I'll tag them with my Scud Storms to weaken them, but I'm also gonna attack with some quad cannon, scorpions, and just whatever I can build. Probably mostly scorpions, though, because with all the rocket upgrades and the extra damage Demolition General gets on explosives like rockets and the HE shells upgrades, they're going to waste infantry pretty quickly. It's not going to be as quick as Toxin General does it, but it's going to be pretty effective, I think. Oh man, it just dawned on me. I've actually beaten this mission. It's over with. He can't reach my base now. That's awesome. At least I'm reasonably sure he can't reach my base. I hate to celebrate prematurely, but yeah, you know what? If I can't beat it this time, I'm just gonna post it as attempt 1 and, you know, we'll just fucking call it there. Come back to it later, because this is fucking ridiculous. I'm sure I'm missing a couple of simple strategies, like I could place some stinger sights in some very specific areas to where they wouldn't interfere with the Torpal limbs and they could probably shoot down some of those toxin missiles, but well, that really doesn't change the outcome of the strategy very much. I'm still just using the Torpal limbs to kill the artillery before they can fire. Otherwise, well, anything else I send out there is just going to get bombed. I don't have any aircraft, and while the demo bikes work really good against artillery, in this specific case, I'm going to have a little bit of trouble because of the toxins. Not just the toxin tractors, but say a demolition truck pops off and spreads a bunch of toxins all over the place, the demolition bikes won't handle that very well. They don't stand up to anything. Machine gun fire, tank fire, anything that hits them pretty much annihilates them. So if you're using them, they can't be hit. They have to have the first strike. Otherwise, you're probably going to lose them. So yeah, I think the quad cannons and tanks are going to be a better choice right now.
Where shall we strike? Launching
That ought to slow him down a bit. I feel kind of bad relying on the super weapons so much, but for Demolition General, they're easier to build, they fit more tightly, and it's not that much different from building a tank horde anyways. It's just a different means to the same end.
Where shall we strike?
Something for the masses.
This is a pretty large squadron of tanks, but it's not quite a horde. I think I need about 4 times or 3 times as many to make it a horde. It's not a horde if they're not getting severely bottlenecked. I think that's the rule. If the AI can keep up with the pathing, then it's not a horde.
Don't get on my body. Going. Nothing can live beneath my toxic cloud, General. Their tragedy will get on my bad side.
Hopefully no demo traps along this trail. It'd be really annoying to have all these tanks blown up. I think they're going to be necessary to finish this off in a reasonable amount of time.
I do not have patience for this. Yes.
Where shall we strike? Launching
Yeah, I
Scud
can
Storm.
rain
Where
Scud
shall
Storms down on GLA all day, but unless I have like 6 or 8 of them, I'm not going to destroy all the GLA holes and builders and all the, well, fenced-off structures that aren't completely built yet but are just sitting there and they won't surrender unless you blow them up. It's kind of a chore, but then again, it would be disappointing if they just gave up the second you turn the match over, you know? Although that would be really, really fucking authentic considering that's how the multiplayer goes most of the time. At least when you're playing strangers. That's the nice thing about playing with friends. They'll let you destroy their base, but if they have some kind of errant building just sitting out in the middle of nowhere and no workers to build it, they'll usually cancel it and just let the match end. Where the artificial intelligence is like, no, fuck you, find my shit, asshole. I'm sucking away every second of your life like a fucking cock-craven whore. Oh, okay, maybe cock-craven whore's a little bit harsh of a judgment for the artificial intelligence, but hey, you know, sometimes you just say things and they stick. I do like the way that cock-craven whore rhymes, though. That's a fun insult right there. I think I'll put that one in the old memory bank. Write it on all my Christmas cards.
My command center. Well, I always hated my commanders anyway. It is just you and me. Stop them dead in their tracks. Don't push me. They will break and shatter. Stop them dead in
I
their
should have built 3 or 4 more Scorpion tanks, but I can work with this. Besides, the Scud Storms will be ready soon anyways.
That's right. Sit back and relax. Give my toxins more time to work. Begin stitching. Stop them dead in their tracks. They will break and shatter. Begin stitching.
We can now use our Scud Storm.
That arms
Where
dealer's
shall we
gotta
strike?
go.
Where shall we strike?
I will do my best. They must die.
Stay away from my Scud missiles. I'll give them to you when I'm ready.
Taken care of. We are the just ones.
Suspense. It's killing you.
No one stands in our way. No lack of courage. No one stands in our way. We are the
Well,
just
that
ones.
was incredibly lucky. I was kinda sure I was gonna lose my tanks right there. Luck against the artificial intelligence is really rare since they're pretty much fucking robotic, you know? No mistakes, always doing the same thing over and over again. So what we just witnessed is clearly a miracle of God. Praise the Scud Lords. Scud Lord sounds badass. That should be a fucking metal band right there. You know, like off-brand Anthrax. Instead of Angel of Death, it's Devil of Life. And has no historical significance whatsoever.
Our will is strong.
Going. I'll get there.
I will do my best.
We can now use our Scud Storm.
Our will is strong.
Where shall we strike?
And
Launching
checkmate.
Scud Storm.
Goodbye, shitty mission. See you again never. At least not as Demolition General. Maybe I'll come back as Laser General and just stomp your shit in for fun. Huh? How'd that be?
I will do this.
Fucking asshole Toxin Shockwave General. Then again, I'm pretty sure the Super Weapon General's gonna be way worse, and I'm not even bringing up Ling yet, because I know exactly how that's going to go. There's going to be one solution to it, and that's the only way to fucking play the mission.
Perhaps I shouldn't have gotten my
Ah,
from
I hate
mail
that
order
shit.
college.
Well, that's not fully true. I hate playing it, but when I beat it, I do feel pretty fucking good. So yeah, beating Toxin General as Demolition General on hard and Shockwave's a pretty damn good feeling. But those 6 attempts prior to this one weren't very fucking fun. There was no satisfaction to that whatsoever. I especially hated the losses where they broke through my front line because one of my torpils would just move a couple of inches forward and then they'd get targeted by artillery and blown up. That was pretty fucking frustrating. It was one of those moments to where it was just so fucking frustrating that I just couldn't even say anything. I was just fucking dead silent. No anger, no rage, just not even surprised. Just disappointed to no fucking limit. But all that being said, I've beaten the mission. It's fucking done. I'm proud of that. Feels good. I'm happy. Happy I tried to. While I'm shitting on this mission and saying it's crap and blah, 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 I still had a lot of fun figuring it out in the end. It's just really frustrating when you have to bang your head against the wall so often just to get the result that you need. But maybe that's my fault. I could learn quicker, possibly, but I don't know. What do you think in the comments? Is this mission bullshit? Did you have any troubles playing it if you played Shockwave, or am I missing something really obvious here? I'm interested to see what y'all think about this one, because I like the Shockwave mod, but kinda not digging the hard challenge mode. Not that it's not difficult. I've always asked for more difficult, Command and Conquer. Fuck. Easy and medium's just pathetic, but, well, this just doesn't feel genuinely hard to me. It feels more like a puzzle than a mission, I guess, is my complaint. And that once you know the solution, it's pretty easy, outside of the Torpil M's being fucking bullshit. But all that aside, let me know what you think in the comments. And that's all I have for now, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.